Yeah! Hello and welcome to this Warno 4v4 game played on one of the newer maps, Stoneware. It is no longer the newest map because they released Valley and Factory. But yeah, it's a pretty cool map. Basically, these are German former coal mines, and then they filled them in with water because they started up nuclear stuff. Now they've got rid of the nuclear stuff and they're back to the coal mines. So presumably these are drained now. Um, anyway, we've got NATO versus Pact. We got 152 Easy, played by Pape Yen Fu. Second Panzergren, played by Diu Indo. 24th US, played by Kellerman. And Second UK, played by Sobra Quito. So I'm going to assume at least some of these guys are friends with each other because they've got the French flag. This is a French name. This sounds a bit more Spanish, but maybe it's also French. On the other side, we got SOCOM playing as Berlin Red. Where is he? There he is. And then Sov Y35, not playing as 35Y. Oh, wow, you can actually put divisional emblems in your name. Spooky, what's he called himself? Spooky hashtag Sov underscore 27 underscore GVMSD. How are you supposed to find these things out? There's no way you can guess that. I'm going to have to ask a data miner to get back to me on that because that's really cool. I'd love to have... Because if that one's in the game, then presumably all the others are as well. We just need to find out how to spell them. So that's pretty cool. And then Viper Cobra playing 56Y. So I assume at least these two guys are together. And these two guys are together maybe. But I don't know. Anyway, let's start with the deployments. Talking about the map, so this is supposed to be a 3v3 map, but basically the way people play it in 4v4 is one guy takes this, one guy takes this, one guy takes this, and one guy takes this. So we've got... sorry, I am a bit under the weather. I apologise for my voice, but it's either this or no video, and I want to make the videos because I enjoyed doing it. So I am sorry. So we got Dio Indo on the left for Second Panzergren. Yeah, not a bad map for not a bad place for this, but I really think so. Where have they put? Okay, interesting. I think something like 152 easy would be best here because you get all the infantry and look at how tree-like it is in nature. You know, lots of trees, lots of close range ground for ATGM, for infantry, like you move infantry up in this forest. Here it's a bit different. It's mainly like forward deployed stuff, so commandos delay running into here would just win you that zone easily. And then you back it up with a bunch of ATGMs, get guys in this forest, get guys in this forest, go through the forest. I think 152 easy would be better there, but Second Pantagram's a general all-rounder, so yeah, he's sending his FS Jaeger. He's actually brought all 8 of them, which is a bit over the top. He's put 4 here, which is daft, because basically you are forward deployed, so you want to go at least for the middle of the map, if not more, because you're going to get there first. So they should really be coming in here is where I would put them. I would even try for this building, probably get there first. Like try and get into Leonid. And then on this side, you really want to be going for all of Jot, not just unloading them all at the edge. Put one in this building, one in this building, one in this building, one here. Or even, 2 up here. But this are these like actual trees. There's this really weird thing in the game, and I can't check this when I'm in spectate, but basically if you hover over cover terrain, it'll come up in orange, unless you're in spectate, in which case it doesn't work. And there are trees in the game that aren't actually cover. So like this is a good example of that. This shrubbery is just classed as open ground, but it can get quite confusing, especially something like this. I don't know which parts are cover and which parts aren't. I would assume this is not, this is, and this is, and then this is not. But yeah. So yeah, I think a wasted opportunity there. I'll be honest, I'm not going to go through every single thing, and there will be occasional cuts in this video because I keep having to stop to like blow my nose and cough and stuff like that because I'm not well. So then we've got 3 racists, and it's like once again you've got recon forward deployment, but you're just playing it so defensively. Like, the one here kind of makes sense, but these two definitely don't. Like, you could be going for this and this. Like, what are you going to see there that you wouldn't see with a regular unit? It's not far enough away. So I'd have a racist down here and, you know, potentially try and get one to here so that you can see down there. But I would have one fewer racists, to be honest. Then we've got some, then we've got 4 Panzergrens just sat there. And then 1 Gepard for AA. So pretty weak deployment there. He's got fob though, so that might help him later. Then we've got Kellerman playing 24th US, and he's helo dropping the zone, which is sensible in lieu of you know, good stuff. And for some reason, there's a Mauso into Appelas coming in here. So these guys must be friends. They must be friends because he said, "Bro, I don't have good AT. Please give me an Appelas unit." And he has obliged him. He's given him an Appelas unit. So they must be friends. Or maybe he's not. I don't know. So yeah, then you've got 100, and you know he's got some ACABs, right? And the helo transports, they're very expensive. I think this is a bit of an overinvestment in helo transports. You only need a couple there to secure the ground, and then if you bring everybody else up in Bradleys or wheeled stuff, while the guys who are securing the ground are busy getting shot, you know, you put an ATGM in here, you bring up all your Bradleys, and then you win the fight. Whereas if you know, the value of having 8 infantry there at the start, backed up by nothing, is not very high. And then, yeah, he's got a screen of ACAB scouts, which is fair enough, really. And he's put them in pretty decent places. Yeah. Anyway, having the 152 easy player on the most open part of the map is really not great at all. Like, these two should definitely be swapped. Failing that, these two should be swapped. Put the second UK player there, because 152 easy is terrible in the open field. You want to be fighting in built-up areas, whether that be forests or buildings. And yes, there are buildings here, and then you can put ATGMs on the outside. But generally, that's an uphill struggle. You'd want a guy who has tanks and IFVs to be here. And you would prefer this place, which I've actually played myself a few times, 152 easy on this side. Really, really strong, because this is all towns, right? You fight for the town at the start, and then if you get the town, then you don't run across the open field like people like to. You put all your ATGMs in the town. You know, you put some guys in here, and then you use the forest. You send your guys through the forest, try and cover this, and then, you know, go through here, round here, and getting over here. Or, you know, go through here and just smoke this so that the enemy fire support can't shoot you while you cross here. So that 152 easy is really great here, but they've put him where he's basically weakest. If he was here, he could use the town. If he was here, he could use the forests. But they've put him where he's weakest, so that's not great, mate. And he's opening Commandos de l'Air, and then a bunch of the Milan ones, reservist LRAC. Yeah, fair enough. A couple Crotals. Kellerman is a 24th player. He's got a fob as well. Okay. And then you've got second UK opening 3 SAS. Yeah, 3 in one place is a good idea, because basically one stinger might miss. So 3 in one place is a good idea. Get those kills. And then, yeah, helicopters coming in. A bunch of stuff coming in. I think the helicopters are probably not going to make it, because there's a lot of guys coming down the other way, and he's put them right in the middle. But yeah, second UK is another kind of generalist, can more or less work anywhere div, but generally, like, they'd be fine here because they could put their IFVs here, their tanks here, and then use this for their infantry. But it's more to do with 152 easy being terrible in this position rather than any of the other divs being bad in their positions. Switching to their opponent's deployment, we've got, let's go right to left, why not? We've got Spooky 27, to be honest, if these two were friends, surely they'd be next to each other. I don't know. Maybe they're all friends. Maybe all 4 of them are friends. We'll see how well they coordinate. So, on the right, playing 27Y with the 27Y emblem, we've got Spooky, and he is opening many Razvedka Saperi. And it's quite a defensive opener, because, well, Okay, that's quite aggressive. Because he knows that he doesn't have airborne forward deploy. He's only got recon forward deploy, so he has to be more reserved, less aggressive than somebody who has airborne forward deploy because they start further forward, so they can get further forwards, right? I don't know how many planes Blue has brought, but basically these would be really open to early bombing runs because they're not, one Gepard isn't really going to defend them at all. You would expect Red to have air superiority because 76Y gets the MiG-31s, which are ridiculous. You really shouldn't be getting four of them. So, especially with the new suppress on miss mechanics, they're really incredible now because you shoot at max range and you usually miss, but you rout the enemy fighter, and then you've got air superiority. Yeah, so Razvedka Saperi, and then behind that some igloos. He's actually going all the way in here. See how far he gets. See how that goes. Then Viper Cobra on 56 watts. So where have they put SOCOM? Do these guys all know each other or something? I don't. So basically, Berlin Red is really bad in open spaces. It's basically like 152 easy. You want built up ground, and they've put him in the open space. So I don't get that at all. People, I guess, only see the town and they think, oh, okay, town zone. But it's not about the town at all, really, because if you get fire support on this side and fire support on this side, then you're going to win every infantry fight in the town because none of these buildings are actually. I suppose that one is. This one is, right? But even then, you can still shoot from over here. So none of these buildings are really protected from the sides because the town isn't particularly wide. So anyway. 56Y going in here. Sort of standard opener. Spetsnaz grew like budget SAS. They've got a really good RPG. They've got decent AA potential, and they're a lot cheaper, but they're only 4 strength. So you use them for your opener, very strong for that. He's only got 2. I think 3 would be better, as we spoke about on the other side. Then Razvedka BMP2s. These are really expensive, like 150 points for that. It is very strong, but I think you could do with like getting 1 fewer. Save yourself some money so that you've actually got a better push here, which consists of igloos and a bunch of sappers and metis in BTR 70s with grenade launchers and all sorts on them. They got some weird transports on that division. Really fun division to play. Very very OP div. It just sort of does everything. It gets like free vet on a bunch of its units as well. 56Y should be bringing the grads because you can get like 2 grads at 1 vet in 1 card, which is absurd. That's the only division in the game that could do that. You get free rank of vet on your grads. And then what you do is you get your mate to send you a fob, to buy you a fob because 56Y doesn't have a fob, and then you can just use those all game. So yeah, I think Red does not have enough fobs. Given that Red is the Rocket Arty spam nation, they should have 3 fobs. Well, I don't think 76Y gets one either, so they'd be max 2 fobs, I suppose. They should have 2 fobs here. Because yeah, 27Y also can get 4 grads or 2 grads at 1 vet across 2 cards. So yeah, they should be abusing the. SOCOM should have bought a fob for his teammates. Anyway, SOCOM's deployment. So he's playing Berlin Red. I can't call him the funny name anymore because I'm worried about demonetization. It's so sad. I can't call this the correct name anymore either. I've been muzzled. Anyway, some forward deployed bundles of sticks, as we're forced to call them these days. Can't have fun, no fun allowed. There's good. Although, like, here would more. Like, can you see? The whole point is that you want to see the road. So actually, if he's put it there, great. Or there, great. If it's here, then not great. Hopefully he's put it in the right place. Because you want to shoot the guys as they're coming down the road. I would have put 2 here, actually, so that you could really get those guys. But yeah, this one being here, that's fair enough. I think you could probably get to here, given that it is forward, airborne forward deployed. And then he's backing that up with, 100mm ATGM thing with the Rapira ATGM. 2 Metis, although it's a bit weird that they're coming in here. You'd want them in the town, right? whatever. Then Wach-Aufklärer, regular Aufklärer, BRM1s. I mean, sure, I just... Why? You need the exceptional optics, I guess, but why send it in the middle? Surely it would be better suited either on this side, looking at all those buildings, or on this side, looking at all those buildings, and then you can see guys in the buildings, where if you send it down mid, you're probably just going to die. But maybe he just wants it to shoot its gun down mid at the start, because it starts further forward, so maybe that can work. And then he's backing it up with a bunch of units, right? Motschuts and BTR. You should have brought the Motschuts and Strela a bit more. That's really useful. And then you don't actually have to buy these as a separate unit for 25 points if you've got Motschuts and Strela, who also get a Strela. And then last but not least, we've got Sov Y35 playing not 35Y, playing 76Y. And he is opening... Yeah, Desatniki Metis, Spetsgruppe V are really good. 10 men, 90 points, 21 AP, and satchels. Like, they're very, very good. Only planes can stop them. That's how they differ from the SAS. They've got better AT, they've got better close range because of the satchels, but they don't have the stingers, and the stingers are good value for money, so that's why SAS are more expensive. So yeah, 4 of them, sensible. Spetsrazvedka, Commander, he's not actually unloading it in center, he's going straight through to Boris, so that's a mistake. You want to unload it in center first, cap center. SPG-9 cars, if they are forward deployed, you should do what this guy has done on the other side, although this is a tracked vehicle and it's recon forward deployed, so it's not as good at this. These ones... Where are we? Oh, they're ATGMs. My bad. I thought they were SPG-9s. But yeah, if you had those, the SPG-9 one, you could put it there, and then you could shoot the enemies as they're coming in. But yeah, you could also do the same. This might be useful later, but really you could do the same thing here and be a bit further forwards, right? But at the start, why not send the one that's going on the left down this road? And it's airborne forward deployed, so anything coming down this road is going to get ATGM shot at it. And obviously the Saxons have smoke, right? But you would be messing up their deployment quite considerably with that unit, and it's only 45 points. It really help you. And then, yeah, a bunch of BMD2s and Iglas and stuff. So, yeah, cool. We'll cast the game. We'll do it from this perspective. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joinering the channel. They get their names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. Great way to support the channel. If you don't want to do that, please just like the video. It's free. And comment on the video. Just write GG if you can't think of anything, unless it's not GG, in which case write BG, I suppose. But yeah, I obviously didn't know about the Harrier until it got deployed. I suppose if I was better at the game, I could have predicted... Oh, right, yeah. There should be... looks like one guy had 110 points missing from his deployment there, but it's kind of hard to tell. And it looks like DU Indo didn't spend all his points. He still had 25 points left, so he bought yet another Racist. The Racist is a good unit for when it's complemented by other units, or to guard a flank where you're not going to have anything. But otherwise, yeah, a bit of I think, an overinvestment in racism there. Could have got like a Lux maybe. I mean, 60 points for a Lux, 50 for 2 racists. So the FS Jaeger deployed, but something's happening over here as well. So these guys came into here. First blood was a Gazelle going down. And yeah, SOCOM managed to get into here just fine. You see how far behind the BRM one is because it's tracked. Overall, I think 76Y is going to win this fight because they've just got way more stuff there. Although the BMD2s drive into the SAS and get hit by a bunch of rockets, there was a miss there. Quite a few misses. Jaguar GR2 is going to get a lot of kills here. Oh, that is rough, man. That was like 5 units. 4 or 5 units. Sadly, it only says 1. It's just a bug with the game. If multiple things die in the same tick, which is the same... well, I'll explain later. So, yeah, that was really rough, and that has completely swung this fight, because now 76Y has just lost too many units. So, yeah, don't clump up. That was sort of a bombing run, but you never want to do that against SAS, because the SAS are going to just shoot you down with the Stingers, and that's exactly what happened there. The Scratchits are taking names. and more infantry's been provided, but I really think he shouldn't have bought that bomber. That was a big mistake. Alpha Jet's out over mid, going on SOCOM's units, and they get one shot by Cub missiles. Mega Waffle 1, this should lower the FPS a bit. Whoa, gets 4 units there, and you saw that FPS decrease. It's always funny playing 10v10 and all of a sudden your FPS goes to like 3 and you're like, what the heck's going on? You look on the other side of the map, somebody's just dropped a Mega Waffle, or the East German one, the KGMU. There's nobody in that building. Yeah, that was a big waste. But yeah, what SOCOM could do here is move these Cubs up a little bit. And of course he didn't have this one supplied, so this Alpha Jet will not be intercepted until after it's dropped its payload, which was just napalm, which doesn't really work against stuff in buildings, although the Eagles here finished them off. Coming over to this side of the map, yeah, as we spoke about, the aircraft troopers not supported, right, versus fire support on these units because of the BTR-70s, and the FS Jaeger not supported versus fire support on the red unit. So not going well for blue at all. Oh, that's going to be a juicy one. Damn, that was like 6 units. It's like 6 units there, roughly. Obviously, it doesn't come up properly. It looked like it was about 6 units. That was a very, very effective shot. Never clump your stuff up, guys. I know there's a need for speed. It helps you micro and stuff, but it just gets you more killed. I mean, it does make it easier to micro. I am wondering where the CV was that was here, right? Or maybe this one went to there, I don't know. Either way, no CV in mid for either player. Over here, blue has managed to push red back, but he's not dealt the killing blow yet. These Screshits are actually... I used to think they were kind of bad, but they've actually completely saved his bacon here. Obviously, bacon ist verboten on the Hippie YouTube channel, but yeah, he's managed to hold them off. So yeah, red's basically taken this. Blue, too many racists, too many units in places not doing anything. These 4 weren't helping. None of these guys have been engaged at all yet, whereas this player, Spooky, has got most of his units in the fight. There's a couple here, right, but most of his units are fighting. Over here, Sobre on 2nd UK did not succeed in pushing out red, and now more Spetsgrupper has shown up. These guys haven't been supplied, and that's just that should really be shooting these back buildings. Both players just buying loads and loads and loads of planes and losing a lot of them. Was it worth it? I would say no. I would rather have, for 255 points, you could have 5 of these, roughly. 4 in a supply truck, maybe. And that would help you a lot more, having 4, air mobile gun groups in here, guys with loads of machine guns to help the fight. Whereas they just keep buying... Yeah, so these guys, they must be friends with each other if they're doing stuff like this. Like that Mega Waffle... Oh, mate, he's not pathed it properly. I don't think it's actually going to unload. Yeah, that was big, big, big oof there. Trading a fighter for a bomber is usually worth it, and these Cubs are just getting so many kills. You should move them after they shoot because the artillery should immediately go on them. And 122mm purchased here? Don't get 122mm, guys. They're really bad. I don't know if Gropers has the ability to buy 155mm artillery. I've not played them in a while. Here we go. Vipers managed to get a CV in here, although his opponents have 2. So yeah, it went looking like red was winning. I mean, they obviously won here, and they were winning here, but that Jaguar cluster killing all the fire support was very powerful, or whatever it was something cluster. Yeah, challenges at no vet is a really bad idea. You always want to bring them at 1 vet minimum. Basically, the fire rate's really low, and it goes down if you're on low cohesion. 0 vet, units take almost 7 minutes to get their cohesion back, from no cohesion to high cohesion. At 1 vet, it's 3 minutes. So, and at 2 vet, it's 2 minutes, something like that. So basically, the step from 0 vet to 1 vet is way more useful than the step from 1 vet to 2 vet. And so you should always try and bring stuff at 1 vet. So that guy, he's going to get out. And honestly, I just imagine if Sobra Quito, instead of buying 4 planes. Here we go, Grad's starting to level the playing field here. Super retard cluster. Oh, mate, now I'm limited monetization. Can't believe it, bros. There goes £2.50. How will I afford my one Greg's? Igler's missing a lot there. I mean, Viper, what's he playing? 56Y? He could get some Strela 10Ms back here. That'd be a lot more useful than 4 Iglers. 4 Stingers is a good idea. 4 Iglers is just a waste of time. Generally because Iglers deal 4 damage, whereas Stingers deal 5. So 2 hits with a Stinger will kill any played in the game. And 2 hits with an Igler will not, because it deals 8 damage, which only kills some planes. So like the Alpha Jet has 6 HP, stuff like that. The MiG-21's got 8. I don't understand why they did that with the MiG-21. Why has that got 8 HP? Why was that targeted for 8 HP-ness? Who knows? I guess it's an older plane. So, yeah. I mean, just such a massive waste of points there. What div is he playing? 24th. So, you know, this unit combo, 35 plus 75, is 110 quick maths. And so basically he could have had 4 more of these rather than those 2. And the HE one's just trash, right? So I think FOB on 24th US is like blue. Generally FOBs tend not to be worth it because you don't have the grads and stuff. I can understand second Panzer getting it if they want to get like 4 Lars or whatever. Do you still get 4 Lars? I know you used to. Yeah, things change a lot in this game, so it's hard to keep track of everything at once. I do try and have an encyclopedic knowledge, but there's like over 1,000 units in this game and they just added 400 more. There we go, something has been spotted. CV. But yeah, Red's looking like they're in a much stronger position here. Over here, I would prefer Red's position, because even though Blue has more stuff, they're all in a very small area, and the grads, the RM70 should be... It should have a CV next to it for starters, so it can shoot faster. Just put this one, press F and press on that. It'll follow it around and boost it. Like this guy's done it, actually. And he's brought his... Yeah, it's 56Y. It's 56Y. So it comes at 1 vet, and then he's put it up to 2 vet. Look at that reload time. 80 seconds compared to... 132. So it's a big difference. It's a big difference. And... yeah, it's a big difference. Anyway, so that was a bomber. I think it was an LGBT. It missed that because it moved. But no, never mind. Yeah, if you're red or if you're blue, the way you win this isn't by running down the main road. Although, yeah, I think blue should put that Challenger there. And then you can just shoot all the reinforcements coming down. The way you win is by getting up the sides and cutting the enemy's reinforcement road. Like, so if you get a BMD2... Here we go. See, the RM70 is just going to keep doing that. Just going to keep doing that. If you get an ATGM vehicle here, blue's not reinforcing this zone. And same with if blue gets an ATGM vehicle to here or here, you know, same story. So people need to... they see the zone. And don't get me wrong, you see some 10v10 players where somebody's just stood out in the middle of nowhere doing literally nothing. But people see the zone and their brains just kind of turn off. And they're like, oh yeah, I gotta push the zone. I gotta go over there. It's blue here. Yeah, that's why you don't club those up. They've only got 8 HP, by the way. I believe 1 cub killed 2 of them. So the napalm thing is really good because it's got regular bombs and napalmy bombs, but napalm's useless against guys in buildings. It literally doesn't do anything. Like, look, he's just sat in the fire, he's fine. So it's less effective in that case. Good usage of MiG-21s to kill the reinforcements. On a big map like this, helicopter reinforcements are faster, and it sells the helicopter faster, so you can get a lot of momentum that way. But you do open yourself up to that. And basically, the way 2nd UK's AA works is you... keep your SAS alive, and you'll notice they're all dead. And so, I think he's still got 3 left. I didn't see him buy any more. But yeah, it's crazy how much these guys are investing in planes, and like, people aren't investing in AA as much as they're investing in planes, and so people are losing a lot of units. Like, this guy should have bought 2 more Cubs by now. Although I think he might have brought them at 1 vet, so he only gets 2 instead of 4. Which I think is a bad idea. Well, I mean, okay, there's another one. So he must have 2 cards of 2. They're coming in at 1 vet. Anyway, Should have bought more cubs, and it's good to see another cub right on schedule. Sorry, I am a bit ill, so if there's occasionally a cut, it's because I got to stop to, like, you know, blow my nose and stuff. I appreciate it. You probably don't want to hear about it, but you know, yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. I do apologise. So over here, you know, there's this constant back and forth, but neither player's really doing what I would consider to be the right thing. So, like, this guy, he's got the artillery, which is smart, because there's only a few buildings there to hit, but he's not actually firing. But that one's... Oh, they're reloading, so I guess he has been firing. But yeah, basically, what Y35 wants to do is get this... Get this guy up to here, and then get these BMD3s, all this, get all this up to here. And then Blue's not reinforcing anymore. He'll have to use planes to clear you out. Here we go, so here's the 4 Lars. So I was right about that. And that is looking pretty rough for Red now. I mean, he had the zone, and then we looked away. Like, Red was doing really well over here. We looked away, we looked back. Now Red's doing very badly. Because once you get into such a small area like this, 4 Lars is really going to ruin your day. The price was increased. There used to be 110, so you could buy 2 a minute. But even so, on a big team game like this, yeah, 4 Lars makes perfect sense with a fob. You'll note that it's like the supply cost is 720, whereas this is 1600, right? But you see it carries fewer rockets, right? So a better comparison would be the Grad. So this is 800. The Grad is better because it's, you know, it just is. Another thing you need to do is turn off the machine guns on these Lars. Otherwise, if you like press T and press Shift, the second attack position, once it runs out of rockets, it will try and shoot the machine gun, and it will just walk off and die. CV went down over here, got sniped by tube artillery. I mean, I'm quite surprised that Red isn't counter-batterying. So, like, okay, yeah. So, the 122s he should never have bought. He should have just bought these. And, you know, the second RM70 maybe, but without... Basically, there's not enough fobs here. So Viper, Cobra, and Spooky have got 4 grads between them. 2 grads will drain a fob before 40 minutes if you're firing it all the time. But, I mean, they might not be using it at peak efficiency, maybe. But you would expect that fob to not be enough. They should have brought more fobs. Especially this guy on Bearcom. Sorry, Berlin Gropers. See, now that I said super retard, I can say Berlin Gropers, right? That's great. If you've brought RM70s in a team game, you should be bringing a fob. In 1v1, fobs are not great because it makes you lose money off the opener. I still think there's a place for them on certain divisions, like 9th Panzer, stuff like that. Stuff you want to take late. What's going on there? Okay. But yeah, I think this is terrible. I really do. The cluster one's a lot better, actually. And Viper Cobra surrenders, so... it's not looking good for Red at all. It's just not looking good for Red at all. I mean, they've just lost a guy. I guess they weren't friends. Maybe these 2 were. Maybe these 3 were, but this guy... Who knows? Or maybe he just lagged out. But it kind of looks like he just got wiped and then surrendered. It looks a lot like that. So, I mean, it's diabolical now for Red. They've been pushed out of here. They've been pushed out of here. They've been pushed out of here. Although, whoa, they're coming back in a big way, actually. What happened to all of DU's units? I mean, where'd they all go? Anyway, you never, ever, 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 ever want to shoot from next to the fob, because if somebody counter-batteries you, you lose your fob. 2 Strike Eagles out for Kellerman. He's going for both T-80 BVs. You should evac them straight away, really. I know they've got 2 more volleys, but you don't want to risk losing those. Sorry, the 2 more volleys between them. So, yeah, it's looking pretty dire, although SOCOM, I guess he wasn't spending his points for a while, because here comes 20 trillion units. The T-34s are terrible. The advantage is that you get 12 of them in a card. I really do think either the price should come down by 5, or the availability should go back up to 15. Like, they literally used to be 30 points, 15 availability, and people weren't using them, and then they got nerfed. But now that... Well, okay, let's just move on. So, yeah, good seed runs from Kellerman. I mean, to be honest, he could have just switched those off. and then switch to, because like you don't want them both next to each other. You want, when one is showing its back, you want the other to be showing its front, because the enemy can switch it off, right? And then switch it back on and shoot you in the back. But what happened there was SOCOM just didn't toggle his AA at all, and he just lost it all. So that's not fantastic. So +4 to blue team. Although SOCOM, you know, he's actually, he might even take this whole zone. I mean, the WAF 14 AP will... What? Oh, it's because they're both hitting. I was going to say, you need 16 AP to 16 heat to one-shot a 2 armor vehicle, which this is. But it's because they were both hitting. Anyway, these have higher range, so they really shouldn't have just ran into that and died. So yeah, great counter push from SOCOM. Over here, Y35 has actually gained a lot of ground as well. He, has he got any RT? I mean, SOCOM is not using... No, he is using it, never mind. So yeah, the counterplay is happening here, but they've got this massive hole in their line now because the AI takes over, and the AI is terrible. It's a shame there's no setting to just let the players take over, get extra income, get extra availability. It's very sad. If you start a game 2v1, you get extra income, you get extra availability, but if somebody leaves, it gives it to the AI, and that's never a good idea, really. I think it's a big shame. So, yeah. I mean, Red's basically taken this. Oh, they got pushed out here, an extra wave of reinforcements arrived, but finally, I think he's finally going to move up and take this. Obviously, the big issue is that you get that happening to you, so you got to keep a MiG-31 up at all times. I'm actually really surprised we haven't seen any... Like, have we seen any MiG-31s? Because the MiG-31 is the longest range ASF in the game. You get 4 of those out. Oh, here we go. You get 4 of those out. This is one you should buy first, right? Because it's got the 8 HE missiles. You get 4 of those out, you can shut down enemy air pretty effectively across the whole map, because you just sling a bunch of missiles at him. Obviously, you're not up all the time, but your MiGs effectively are invincible, unless you miss micro them and just drive them into the enemy and die. They should be invincible, because they just have more range than any other fighter in the game, and any AA piece. It's literally 12k. And then you just constantly sling stuff at them and push them back with the suppression, and you're invincible. So that's something that he should be aspiring towards, but he's got some frontline problems, right? He can't really afford it. So over here, yeah, blue, they have been pushed out, and now SOCOM should retreat and maybe bring up some AA. Like, I guess he forgot that in his composition. Could have had a Strela 10M or something. Because using these MiG-21s, you know, it's alright, but if your enemy actually bothered to resupply his AA, this should be dead, really, but blue haven't really been doing a good job with the AA. Another disadvantage of putting 2nd Panzergrenadier all the way over here is that the division with the longest range AA, the Ihawks, which I've noticed he's not actually got any of, is over here, so the Ihawk range doesn't cover your teammates, whereas if you're in the middle, imagine if 2nd Panzergrenadier was here, right? For starters, he'd have fire support, and his Ihawks would also be able to mostly cover Sobra Quito here and Papayenfu. So, you know, it's a rough one. But yeah, this back and forth's really interesting. I am surprised that so like 76Y you could get the half grads or you could get the Nonas. Just a little bit of RT would be useful here because there's so few buildings. You basically know where they are. Like, obviously, if he's shooting at you, you definitely do. And then you could just hit that building. And he's finally using the forest as well. Great to see somebody using the forest here. Because once you get to here, sort of same story. You can shoot the CV even. This taking zones is all about the flags. I really wish there was the Steel Division 1 frontline thing in this game. Sorry guys, I am a bit ill. I keep having to stop to like blow my nose and stuff. But yeah, that should get... Oh, I thought I was going to get 2 there. I thought I was going for this. Oh yeah, it is. That's not great. So, when you buy a unit, right, so you click up here, you click the card you want to buy, Desatniki Metis in the gas, then you click Y, then you click on your screen, and then the units will automatically unload when they get to where they're going. Whereas if you just buy it normally, you got to remember to unload them, and then they die. and that your transports don't sell as fast as they would be selling if you unloaded immediately, and so on. So ViperCobra.ai has managed to push back in here, but that's mainly because these two, Kellerman and... oh no, it's just Kellerman. He's not advanced. But it was Viper that left, right? But I'm not sure what Kellerman is doing. Because, like, what? He's against AI. You just walk forward. He's got a lot of arty, I suppose. So those are reloading. If you're going to do this as well, you should probably put a CV next to those two. Cut down that reload time by like a solid minute. So that's 3 minutes there. So like, you know, this is just lower anyway. It's kind of weird actually. I wonder what, like, who decides that? Why is this higher when it's a worse piece? Weird. So, yeah. What can I say? I mean, it's difficult to keep track of things. So he finally managed to get to both corners, and once you do that, then you take the zone, right? You'll notice that he hasn't actually walked anybody up here. It's all about just taking the sides. Obviously, you hold here. You don't want him to just walk into you and kill your CV, but you win the zone by taking the sides. This is kind of the same here as well. So what SOCOM could have done, and in fact, yeah, his T-34s came down here, right? But if you get some ATGMs to here, and you get some ATGMs to here, then you shoot in the reinforcement row, especially if you get to here. Obviously, it becomes a lot harder when the guy to the right of you loses all his units and then quits and gets replaced by an AI. You see Calaman is now moving forwards there. But because of this, Red is now winning, even though they're a player down. And over here, Spooky did manage to reclaim his zone, mainly because, like, Diu's tactics are very not great. Like, he just keeps blobbing his guys in a little corner and getting them killed. He needs to spread out a bit. But yeah, the AI is doing a decent job here, because they've managed to push some units up to hit. Because, once again, it's all about... I really wish there was a mode where it's like Steel Division 1. I really do. Because people would just play the game completely differently. There's just something about the psychology of seeing this box that's the enemy's colour and being like, I need to go there. And I don't pretend to be above it. I do the same thing all the time. I have to constantly remind myself not to. Because, like, the secret to taking this zone isn't walking up and down this. If red gets to here, then blue isn't getting in the zone. If blue comes this way and gets to here, then red isn't getting into the zone. That's how you win that fight. But people, they just see the zone and they're just like, I gotta go forwards. Whereas this guy here, Y35, he figured it out. He's like, okay, I'll come down the sides. And then he won. Or he won his zone. Whereas SOCOM won just because... well, no, he did. He came down here. He came down here with his T-34s. You don't win by just face smacking the enemy, because that's obviously where he's strongest anyway. You got to cut his reinforcements and then deal with the units that are there. You know, I mean, all warfare is ultimately based, right? And that's a big part of it. So yeah, more MLRS. I do find it. I mean, Kelman really needs to clean this up and then go help his teammates, but he really needs to finish taking this zone, because this is getting a bit silly now. And then once you get to here, then you can, as blue, you could do what I was saying to red. If you get to here, then you get to here, you're cutting the enemy's reinforcements. You know, you get down here. It's all about trying to outflank the enemy, and that's why I wish. That's why I like the larger 1v1 maps, because they allow for that to happen. Sadly, you get sort of things like Hesse Duel, where the zones are just these tiny little boxes in the middle of the map and don't correspond to anything at all, and you just fight over a little box, which I guess is an attempt to force people to think outside the box by just making the box so small. Got two there. By making the box so small that it is impossible to think in the box. But look, he's doing it again. And a lot of Spooky's forces aren't actually fighting for this at all. They're just sat there waiting to attack here. But Diu's actually put so many units here that this won't be as easy as he might think. But yeah, over here, I mean, red's done really well. The question is, where do you go next? If you're Y35, you want to be coming through this forest and then challenging here. You do not want to be running across this field. That shouldn't work. Doesn't necessarily mean that it won't. But yeah, you want to be coming up here. You want to be coming up here, trying to jump over to here. You know, use the forest, use the cover, outflank. Outflank. Don't just smack into the enemy. Lane brain, we call it. Lane brain. I do apologise for yet another cut there. We just saw the CV go down here. Red's units, he got to the end of the zone and then he overextended and died. Many such cases, I'm afraid. Once you get to the end of the zone, you know, hang back, don't just run in over the open field and die. You hate to see it, etc, etc. So, Blue's probably going to get CV back in here because of the overextension. This is out of rounds, right? Oh, it's now... Well, something died there. So... sorry, I do apologise. I am not well. There's not really a lot I can do about it. I want to make the videos. I can't just wait 2 weeks. I mean, I want to make the videos. So I do try and cut things out. So presumably there was just a cut there as well. I'm very good at cutting things out. So yeah, I'm surprised he's still got any of these left. I think a lot of it is to do with the fact that Papin Yenfu has just had a bunch of empty Crotals here for ages, and so, you know, if you don't shoot, then you can't kill anything. This Kellerman guy really likes his RT. So the issue with the military police ones is that the disheartened ones is that they actually do fire about 20% slower than this, even though the stat card says the same. They do fire about 20% slower. So the way you fix that is by putting a military police next to them. I'm not sure a CV actually alleviates the disheartened trait. I actually don't think it does. TAM there, about as useful as it usually is. So this is basically Red saving grace. These two players have managed to sort this out, and over here, you know, the AI is beating Kellerman, mainly because I think Kellerman is buying too much artillery, which doesn't really do anything. Well, these howitzers, these two howitzers are probably a good idea. I don't really think these are very good. I don't think these are good. I wouldn't bring the FOB for that reason. It's just the M270s. The cluster one's pretty decent, but the other ones aren't. And I guess he's been buying a lot of planes, because yeah, those wild weasels are his, and they did some good work over here. They took out those cubs, which have now been replaced, but they did take them out, and he had those two strike eagles. So I guess that's where all his points are, because yeah, the AI is just walking in, and if it was smart enough to send the CV in, it would take the zone, or you know, it would contest the zone. So yeah, less arty, more units, and now we see he's bought a bunch of Bradleys, so he should now. Although he's not, he does have a Meep Abrams. He should really have a helicopter. A helicopter here, tow cobra. Do they get tow cobras? They get National Guard Apaches, right? That would be really useful. But yeah, Blue's got this problem where, you know, 152 easy. It's all about the infantry and the sort of light fire support, and then he just keeps walking into the zone and getting MLRS'd. If he spread out a bit, you know, a guy here, well, he'd be hit by an ATGM. The guy here would be hit by an ATGM, so a lot of it is just don't put that div there. Bad place to have that div. But yeah, it's actually incredible how many forces the AI has managed to amass, and now it's actually going for it. I think the Chaparral probably... Whoa, I don't know, I mean, it should kill this, but... Yeah, you can't view helicopter LOS unless you're hovering over a helicopter, so I can't see that. Like, this is only what it can see on the ground, not what it can see in the air at helicopter height. And Spooky took this because Dio's not really been spending his points, right? And this is another thing that people... It's really common that people will just buy 10 of one thing and then 10 of the next thing and then 10 of the next thing. And, you know, by the time your infantry gets there, your tanks are dead. So then you buy 10 tanks, but by the time your tanks get there, your infantry's dead. And it's just a practice thing. The more you play, the more you realise that you need to be buying not 10 of one thing, then 10 of the next thing. So he's actually got 2 cards of T-34s in his deck. I honestly think he would have had a much better time if he had 2 cards of T-55s in his deck. I just don't think the T-34 is a good value for money. Maybe if there were 15 per card, there'd be an idea to it. Saturation attacks, you know. There we go, so the Crocodiles finally got some supply, and look, now they're killing things. Andy's put a CV next to them, intentionally or otherwise. I mean, it makes it, you know, 10% more accurate, so... Well, it should be 5%, but I think he got a kill, which also gave it a rank of veterancy. So this will probably get those. Yeah, I get some both, so it's probably worth it. It was definitely worth it, to be honest. It's paid for itself. So over here, there has been a counter push by Second UK, but 35Y should be able to hold this simply by holding the sides. Although I've noticed like this should really be up here, shooting down, or even here. Because here, you know, you can't shoot at the road. You want to be shooting the road as far as possible down that road. 76 doesn't get helicopters right, so we can't just park a helicopter back here. It's very, very powerful defensive tool. It's not unbeatable. And here we go, more blobbing. More dying. This is just depressing, man. If this guy had just stuck around, he would have... Well, I don't know. I mean, he lost the zone. The AI took it back, so maybe not. But I think maybe if Spooky sort of noticed what his AI compadre was doing here, he could just send his CV, or buy a CV and just put it in here, put a couple inf in there, exploit it, because Kellerman, the way he's playing, he just doesn't seem to get it. I mean, you need to be here, otherwise the enemy's going to keep walking back into your zone. But he just wants to sit back and shoot the bomb. I mean, the AI just keeps walking forwards until it dies, so he's getting a lot of kills. His KD will be really good, but you know, you should really be pushing the AI back. So there you go, National Guard Apache. And Spooky's woken. He got pushed out there by 9 Jaeger. And this did not smoke. Oh no, smoke, or at least unload. Unload and reverse maybe? Don't just sit there. At least he is unloading. He did unload, that is good. But yeah, just people just buy him 10 of one thing than 10 of the other. It's just practice thing. You can't really, I mean, people obviously know it's wrong, right? It's just hard to remember in the heat of the moment. Because you're like, oh man, I got 1,000 points, I gotta spend it, and then you just click the same thing, right? Whereas if you are missing AA, which he is, and you are missing like an extra tank and a few less of those would have been a lot more useful there, and then he walks them all forwards together, and then they all get artillery together. You know, it's very sad. CV went down there, but there was a spare. CV went down here. Yeah, so the 76Y late game is just about air spamming SU-24s. Which is now happening, and Sobra Quito, like, he never really... Don't bring the Javelin LML. He's got those Rapier FSB ones, he should have, like, all of them. So, a 30 AP missile. A Challenger will survive a 30 AP missile. One, but it fires two. So, yes, you may lose... Basically, you got a 25% chance of losing your tank on every run. A 50% chance of one missile hitting, and therefore you survive, and a 25% chance of watching this MiG-29 try and take out these Strike Eagles. So if you're a 16 armor vehicle, like the Leopard 2, which I don't think this guy's actually bought any of, or if he has, they all died, then you have a 75% chance of dying, as opposed to a 25% chance of dying from a single run. So it's a pretty big difference that one armor can make, because I believe 17 you survive. Obviously the Challenger's 18. Should be about 30, but what can you do? So yeah, one armor can make the difference between a 25% chance of survival and a 75% chance of survival. It's really interesting. But yeah, somehow Red's won. And I guess it's because, like, you know, so Spooky took this. The AI did such a good job here. It's a shame it just doesn't want to move a CV in ever. it would have been cool if one of the red players had noticed this and just sent a CV in here, because then they'd be contesting this, and then that'd be an extra. What is that? +2? Can't really tell. Yeah, that'd be an extra +2 to them. They would have won by now. And yeah, Y35 here did a good job of pushing these guys out. But yeah, it's all about, like, you only need a couple of units in here, right? A couple of those MGs and you know, ATGM, a couple of ATGMs, great. Everybody else should be coming down the sides and fighting on the sides. Like, these two have basically been forgotten about for some time now. You get those down to here, right? And you just shoot the reinforcements as they come in. The issue, of course, is that you want them in ATGM range and not in tank gun range, whereas the line of sight here basically always puts you in tank gun range. And where would you have to get to? No, it's just because of the way the hill works, I think. There's very few places where you could be in ATGM range, but not tank gun range. Interesting. So, yeah, with 1 minute 38 left on the clock, can Hippie get to the end of the video without having to pause it again? Let's have some more of the honey water. Water with honey in it. But yeah, this is... There's just not a whole lot of combined arms happening over here. It's just one infantry blob, another infantry blob. Yeah, just practice. But then, you know, a lot of people can't justify spending 2,000 hours on a video game. And frankly, I think that's perfectly understandable. So the red CV went down here. I did not see... Oh, it was a commander. No, I tried to click it, but it clicked... Whatever. So here comes a replacement. Basilex are trash. Never, ever, ever bring them, ever, in a million years, until they fix them. Bring the Nonas or the half-grads. Nonas or half-grads. I do like the airplay. You know, sending the seed out with the AT planes. Protects the AT planes. You can either send the seed first, or send it second. First helps protect the AT plane. Second helps kill the enemy AA, because they tend to have it switched on to shoot the bomber, right? Either could work. Basically, you want to not right next to each other, but one just a little bit behind the other, or a little bit ahead of the other, and either way is reasonably effective. Seed first is probably the best idea, simply because there's more bad players than good ones. Basically, if you're against a bad player, their AA will just be on anyway. And so you send the seed, it shoots the AA. If you're against a good player, they'll see the seed, switch off their AA. And then they'll switch it back on again once the seed turns its back and hit your bomber. So that's why the seed has to be second. Because then the seed protects the bomber that way. But yeah, it's crazy how the game works, right? So this guy... I mean, I hope he doesn't watch the video, because I'm going to flame him now. This guy's played this game, and he'll probably think to himself, wow, my team, bad. Me, good. Look how many kills I got. I'm the best. But it doesn't really... It doesn't really explain what was happening there. He sat back and bought artillery, and let an AI walk into him, while all his teammates died. So you get loads of kills, but you lose the game, right? Because, I mean, obviously... So, I could just restart the replay, but it's much better this way. So if you recall, that zone that Kellerman and the AI were on, I thought it was on the square tool, was like this, right? And it was blue, because Kellerman, he'd taken it from the guy rage quit, then it was an AI. So the zone's blue. Blue outline would probably be better. But the actual disposition of Blue's forces, of Kellerman's forces, were like this. And I'm being generous to him here. So actually, even though he owned the zone, his forces were only like this. So on the right side, he had a teammate where there was like red AI forces just walking through and cutting off his teammate. So there was another zone back here where those ponds were, where those former mining ponds, those lignite ponds, lignite extraction, former whatever. So there was a zone like over here, right? And Red had obviously taken that zone, because of course they had. if you've got red units here, that didn't work. If you, I should have used a thicker pen. If there's red units all up in here, shooting here at the blue guy, right, then you're going to die. And on the other side, there was a zone that was like this, where the blue guy had been, because like if you get outflanked, you get outflanked, right? We've been speaking about this all game. Because the line's like this, right? The blue guy is getting flanked by red units. So he had some conkers up to like here or something, right? And then on the right side we had Y35, and he was sort of, well, for most of the game he was like back here, right? So if you're so because this player here has sat back here and just gone for kills, right? Both of the enemy player, both of his teammates either side of him are getting chewed up. They're getting chewed up because the enemy has come around your flanks and he's now shooting your teammates in the back, in the sides, right? On this side especially, we saw that was the case. But this guy, you look at the end screen, it says he got a 2.5 to 1 KD. Man, why is my team so bad? All my team does is feed. But this is literally because he he sacrificed his team to get that KD. But the game doesn't explain that to you. And the game rewards you for that behavior. So you see that, in a way, it can be reflected in the conquest points, although the way that seems to work is a bit weird. So this guy walks away happy, thinking, man, my team sucks. But no, he's the reason his team lost. That and the fact that, this 152 easy player and the second Panzer player should not have been that way around. They should have been the other way around. So that's why whenever I'm playing a team game, I like to be in like Y35 position on the far left, or if you're or Spooky on the far right, because then there might be a guy on your left who's not helping you and making you get shot in the side, but there can't be a guy on the right who's doing that because that's the border of the map. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm just going to get accused of like flaming some poor guy, but I see this so often in these team games. And then and then I see them on like Reddit or Discord or whatever. They're like, man, why is my team so bad? There's a guy who's pretty famous for this. He's, I won't say his name. It's not this guy, but he sits on the Broken Arrow Discord in the Warno one, and he just talks about how good he is because he gets loads of kills with a napalm grad as KDA in 10v10s, and it's like, oh man, it's sad. So that's why I really wish the game. Well, I don't know, because even if it was like Steel Division 1 with that front line, how would the game know that this is this guy's front line and this guy's problem? Do you know what I mean? Like, how would he would the game know that this is his problem? I don't know. I hope you learned something. I'll see you around.